safer place. You're not alone, we're standing by your side, helping you through every twist in the ride. With knowledge, care, and a voice that's true, the Disability Digest is here for you. We've walked the path, we've heard the fight, we know the pain that hides from sight. But every story matters, every win is real. Together we rise, together we heal. You're not alone, we're standing by your side, helping you through every twist in the ride. With knowledge, care, and a voice that's true, the Disability Digest is here for you.
All right. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Again, I'm Nadine, and welcome to today's live session. So today's topic is all about medical evidence and how to prove you can't work. So here's the reality. Even the strongest disability cases can be denied without the right medical proof. So today, Brian will walk you through the exact medical evidence Social Security looks for, how to work with your doctors for supportive statements, and the number one mistake to avoid when sending your records. And also, we are joined by Philip. He leads a very supportive online community for people going through the disability process, and he's partnered with us here at the Disability Digest to help members to take action and stay informed every step of the way. Thank you so much for being here, Philip.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
Thank you. So without any further ado, Brian, I'll pass on the microphone to you.
Thank you. Great to be here, everybody. My pleasure. I'm excited for today's information. I hope when you're done, you'll leave with, the same excitement and some clarity on what it is that you medically need to have in place to get your benefits approved, but also for those of you that are approved to keep them, because the game isn't over with continuing disability reviews that have certainly increased and will continue to in our new administration. So not to be concerned, there's definitely some steps that you can take. So that's what we're going to do. Now, there's kind of two parts to what I want to cover here today. I want to, first of all, start and get some information from you folks, because it's kind of a collaborative learning that we have here. And what I would like to understand from the audience out there is, like, are you using any research tools before or after you go into the doctors? Like, are you researching your conditions using ChatGPT? Are you coming up with questions or possible treatments? So Nadine is going to put in the chat a survey for you to take, but I want to play this video because this is an interesting trend. It's just a short, quick video so that you get the concept as to why I'm doing this, hopefully. So here we go.
Other doctors out there, but for the first time these past few weeks, I am truly feeling that our days are numbered because of AI. And that is because at least my patients are coming in with very, very difficult questions. They're high level, very granular and nuanced type of questions that I've never been asked before in previous years. And they are coming in with way more knowledge about what's going on with them. And they are, I feel like, using that to at least kind of probe the doctor, at least me, about like how much they know. And I think they use like these questions to
So that hopefully will give you the vibe. And from my position here of doing this for almost 2 decades, there's a lot of questions that are in and around how do I keep my benefits? But, and you know, you could look at different answers. Do I get a disability representative? Is it about filling out this form? What do I need to say and do? And the best advice that I can give anybody is what we're going to go through today is evidence. And the evidence, in large part, starts with you and understanding what evidence you need in your medical file to get your benefits approved and to keep your benefits. Because you can have the best resources in the world, but if your medical records are not in line with clearly communicating limitations or the fact that you can't work, then you're going to have a real challenge. So that's what we're going to go through here today. So please take some time to fill out the survey. I will remind you again at the end of the show for those that may be joining us late. That would really be helpful for us. And the reason why we're doing these surveys now is we want to know how we can help you. And if everybody says 100% of you says, yeah, I'm absolutely crushing it, I get all the questions answered, and then, you know, it's not something we need to continue or address. Make sense? Hopefully. Okay. All right. You ready to go, folks?
Yeah.
Oh, did we say we're going to have a Q&A later after this? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yep, we're gonna have I mean we're gonna open Zoom for everyone who is going to have any questions and wants to ask their questions live. So
Yep.
today we will give them two options. They can either join through the Zoom link, or they can call and join in, call in, dial in, whatever term you use for that, using their mobile phone. So
From
yep.
anywhere in the world, you can participate.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
Okay. Speaking of participation, we're going to go through evidence here today. But if you would like to have some practical experience, like hands-on live experience as to you communicating to us your understanding of your medical records and your situation, then here's how you do it. This is no charge, folks. We'll tighten up your disability application and your ability to keep them. Put in the comments after you've done the survey why it is that you are not able to work. In your own words, 2 sentences or less. If it's any more than 2 sentences, we're not going to pay attention to it. So everybody, if you followed us in the past, should have one of these. If not, then you're new here. Welcome. We're going to help you out. 2 sentences or less why you can't work as we go through this. Okay. All right. Now, here's the first thing about that I want to go through for your evidence is, as I mentioned, it starts with you and your communication with your doctor. When you go into the doctor, it's not just going there and sitting down and having a conversation. There is an objective, and this should be applicable for anybody that's doctoring. Whether you are, feel you're perfectly fine, this is how I approach it. I consider myself to be an able-bodied person because I've learned from all of you folks how to effectively doctor. So what you want to communicate in to the doctor is specific functional examples that are realistic and in line with what your limitations are. Don't make anything up because credibility is key and they'll figure it out. An example is I can't stand for 5 minutes. I'm only sleeping for 4 hours a night. I'm not able to lift more than 8 pounds anymore. I cannot climb more than 4 stairs. I've got to hang on to the railing and take a 1-minute break. I'm not able to walk more than 25 steps. So these are your limitations that you observe, you journal. Now, the objective is this. This is the most important part of what I'm going to cover here today. Your objective is to communicate those to your doctor so that you get keywords into your medical records. Now, these are some of the keywords that really lights a Social Security examiner up when they go flipping through or they do a scan on your medical records and they come across, right? First one is severe. Most conditions, I'm going to go through 10 different ones. Most conditions are marked as either mild, moderate, or severe. Mild or moderate is, not as going to be as limiting as severe. So an example would be if you have degenerative disc disease and the pain associated with it is in your medical records is noted as severe, and then you're communicating to the doctor that you cannot stand for more than 10 minutes at a time, that connects the two. Hopefully you're listening, and that can, because that's the objective of getting and keeping your benefits, is you have a diagnosis, it's marked as severe, and your limitations are in line with it. So let's say it's depression or any other brain health condition, could be mild, moderate, or severe. If it's severe, like severe depression, could put you in bed for 2 or 3 days to recover. And episodes like this may happen 3 times a month. So that's 9, 10 days a month you're in bed with severe depression. Okay. So the limitation is you're in bed, the condition is severe. And the next number 2 that I've started to touch on is frequency. So if you have, let's spin it and go back, and let's say you have mild depression. Your mild depression, if you have an episode which happens once every 3 months, maybe you're in bed for a day. Well, you could still work because you're only missing like 1 day every 3 months, and that's mild. All right. Next one is constant. Now you have to keep in mind, one of the criteria for Social Security is your condition needs to last longer than 12 months. Okay. So if you have a condition that's not constant, like if you have constant chronic pain from the degenerative disc disease, and there isn't anything that's medical, surgical that could reduce or eliminate that, then that's going to last more than 12 months. If it's something like a herniated disc that could be treated, and it's possible that it could be treated and resolved, it's not going to last longer than 12 months. That's another key feature. So conditions that are constant. Predictability. Are you predictable to be able to work? Let's take an autoimmune condition like fibromyalgia. God awful stuff. If you have a fibro flare that's bad and you don't know when they show up, then are you predictable? Could you say to an employer, yeah, I'm predictable? Well, you might feel that you are, but it's your fibromyalgia that's going to dictate it, because you really don't know when that flare comes and it hits you. You feel like you have the flu, and you're in bed for like a day or 2 to recover from it. So the predictable. Concentration. Like if you read an article in the newspaper, how much of that could you retain and be able to execute on? And that's important, because if you go into a job and you have tasks to remember or tasks to learn, then the concentration and the retention piece is difficult. That one's a bit more difficult to like quantify, because it's not like your back pain where you can see inflammation and things like that, but it's definitely important. Are you forgetting things? Which kind of goes with the concentration. And that could also go with the next one, which is fatigue. This is 7, is fatigue. If you wake up and you're unrested, like you've been in bed for 10 hours and you wake up and you feel like you haven't slept, and that fatigue is going to cause like the concentration issues and the forgetfulness. It's just a spiral. So one of the key things to good health in general is good sleep. If you get a good night's sleep, then you can allow your body to eliminate or reduce a lot of those things. Bad days. In a moment, I'm going to pivot over to the doctor support forms and bad days. But if you think about your condition, and your conditions dictate bad days, like the depression and the fibromyalgia example, how many bad days do you have? And what is a bad day like? Does a bad day mean that you're like knocked out for the whole day? Like you're in bed with the blinds closed and you're not eating, not drinking, and you've got like ice packs on your head? Or is your bad day like, I can still get up and move around? Your bad day in the disability approval and retention process is something that really prohibits you from doing anything or from work. So how many bad days do you have? Okay. Do you need help with anything? Do you need help walking? Are you still able to drive? That's a big one. So the last one is what limitations are noted in your medical records? Does the doctor put a limitation on you saying that you cannot drive or lifting, or has the doctor said that you shouldn't be working, right? So what limitations are in your medical records? So those are 10 key things. I want to just go back. Your goal is to get those into your medical records. That's your number one goal in the disability approval process of things that you can control. And again, if you don't have these, how is an evidence-based process going to be able to determine that you qualify to get your benefits and keep your benefits? Okay, that's the importance of it. All right, so just a reminder, I see people still trickling in. We've got an awesome survey we would like you to take and would be grateful for your investing. Like, I don't know, it might take 10 seconds to do it, but super valuable. And also the offer to submit into the chat your 2 sentence or less explanation of why you cannot work. And we'll evaluate these and give you some feedback as we go through. All right. So, but on the symptoms and the 10 ones that I covered, don't downplay them. Be very truthful and honest with your symptoms. And there's two parts in reporting these. One is I'm in hopes that you'd still want to get better. Getting better with some of your symptoms doesn't mean that you could still work. So that's why we encourage you to go to the doctors. And number two is it's really the truth on your situation, and which is going to help you get what you're entitled to. All right. Don't assume that the doctor understands your limitations and that you're communicating them and that they're going to go into your medical records. We've had plenty of people here at the Disability Digest that have shared with us the total shenanigans that go on with medical records. You must review those after you have, really after every visit, make sure it's right. So I'm advocating for a family member, and we do this, and we've had situations, and they're honest mistakes, but they happen. Okay. The next key piece of evidence is this. You've got your medical records and you're doing all that. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. There are documents that Social Security recognizes that are called residual functional capacity reports. These are some of the ones that we use here that are available in our disability approval course. And here's the value of it. A functional capacity evaluation is something that you present to your doctor. And the reason why you present it is higher probability that it would be filled out. Okay. Now you could have somebody send it, but doctor gets it. They're trying to do less work, not more. There isn't the, hey, listen, I'm not able to work. And it's really important for me to get some stability so I can continue to get treatment and come back in here. And I'm asking you to take 5-7 minutes to fill this out. We can do it right here today. Right. So if you present it in that fashion, the probability of getting this done goes way up. And the one exception is if you are being treated by Kaiser in California. They're absolutely pathetic. They don't do anything to help people. So you've got to go back to limitations. So here's the key thing. In these forms, they're going to document what you're being treated for, what their findings are, and they're going to comment on your limitations. They're going to mark them. Now, there's a few key points in here that I want to go over, and that is this one. I'm going to pause on 13. Your doctor's opinion on your ability to work. And this is going to be really predicated on how well you communicate. And the question is, on average, how often do you anticipate that the patient's impairments or treatment would cause the patient to be absent from work. Now, your objective here, if it's true, is 3 or more times a month, because there isn't the ability to maintain a job, any job, even if you're under 50, that would allow you to miss more than 3 days a month for medical reasons. And that really puts a lock on your case. So if you have 5 doctors and you can get 3 RFCs completed and they all have the same thing, that really tightens up your case in addition to that. And again, not all doctors complete these. So that's why what I had just gone through prior with the limitations is not a replacement, but it's a good start to communicating to Social Security, because it really forces their hand. A lot of the information that they put in this document would be in your limitations that you've communicated to them. All right. So RFCs. Now, how do you get these and how do you learn all this and all these things? A few things I want to share with you. Back to sharing my screen. Here at the Disability Digest, you can join us as a member. It's no charge. And when you join us as a member and you're going through the approval process, then you get access to one of our wonderful advocates. Could be Philip, Nadine, or somebody else on the team here. They'll learn a lot more about your situation, and then they'll put you into our disability approval course. In our disability approval course, this is the segment for those that have not applied. It will teach you like what to say and do. Like we're going to go through a few examples here in a minute so that you can communicate you qualify amongst a lot of other things. But also it will help you with getting the doctor's support forms that I just went through. Okay, so that's the disability approval course. So you join us as a member. We'll put a link in at the end of the show. You click the green button, come in, join, connect with your advocate. They learn more about your situation. They'll put you into the right section of the course with some condition-specific information, and then you can take it from there, represent your own case if you want, or if you're like, I don't want to do this, I want some help, that's a discussion you can have with your advocate as well. All right, now, here's some other areas of evidence that you can tighten up your case with. You can get third-party support forms, and third-party could be from coworkers or your superior on your job, and there's a certain strategy and information that should be put into those, and that's a lesson that you're taught in our disability approval course. That's great additional evidence. Another thing is video evidence. And you can take a simple video showing your limitations about lifting, like if the doctor put limitations of not being able to lift more than 10 pounds, and you're not able to lift a gallon of milk, you can demonstrate that, or what it's like for you to walk, to move around. Short 30-second videos. These can be put in your case file. You would need to be using a representative to get that digital channel of flow through. I don't know if you're managing your own case, if you can get them into a caseworker. I don't know how, haven't heard of that that has been able to be done. So those are additional key parts of evidence. I have met with individuals that were representing in a Zoom room here, and I've gone through a series of questions, answers, and activities for them. I've taken that, put it into the case file to help them get approved. So these are creative things that you can do now. Now, I want to tighten this up and just wrap up with kind of a trend in what's going on in the industry now. It was for a while that initial applications, we would take the initial application, create the information, submit it to Social Security, let them request the medical records from the doctors. That is the normal flow of the process. But the new trend now is, in some cases where there's really a viable opportunity to win it at initial, is to collect the medical records in advance, to purchase them privately. A representative would do this, and if you don't have access to those, gather all of those medical records and all of this beautiful information that you have put into your medical records, communicating your limitations and all of that, package it all up, get it into the Social Security case examiner, and it really does all their work for them. They can make a decision right away. They don't have to request for medical records. They don't have to wait for the other evidence to get in the file. And Social Security has provided additional authorization to caseworkers now to fast track decisions so that if they have everything they need, it doesn't need to go into an exam. So this process of doing the work in advance, so that if you're listening to this and you haven't applied, or if you know somebody that might be on the verge of it, getting them this replay so they do the right things now can save them months and like thousands of dollars of, potential income that they can get earlier, sooner than later. So share the work. All right. I'm going to take a pause here for a minute. I do want to check and see if we have some 2 sentence or less scenarios to go through. Then I'd like to
Yeah.
learn about the poll. Then we can get into Q&A. How's that sound?
Sure, that'll work. So we do have several statements here that they posted, and I'm sure they're gonna appreciate your feedback on this, Brian. So statement from Zippy. I can't drive 2 or 3 times a week due to Meniere's disease. I also have several neck pain, 2 years after surgery, limited to 15 pounds weight limit.
Okay. I didn't get the driving piece.
I can't
Can
drive
drive?
I can't drive 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay. All right. So if you had a job that you needed to get to, you wouldn't be able to get there. That's definitely a factor. That's good. What I like about that statement is it has a quantifiable measurement on it, 2 to 3. If somebody was to say, I can't drive it, we don't know how much, right?
Yeah.
So that's good. But I would tighten that up with a few other limitations. The second part was okay. But if there's any other limitations that you might have, just give some thought to those. But on a scale of 1 to 10, that was a good one to start. I'm gonna throw that one up in the 8.7 range.
All right. Another statement for evaluation here from Scorpio Lane. I can't stand, walk, or even sit for any duration without leg pain. Pain varies from minute to minute. I had an initial surgery in 2022.
Okay. Anybody
That's
else
all.
wanna have an evaluation on this one? How would you score it and why?
Of
You can say pass if you don't want to.
Yeah, I'd score it like 7/10. He can be more specific. Like at least mention how many minutes he can stand, walk, or sit. Like instead of just saying a vague duration.
Right. Philip, you have a comment on this one?
Ditto that.
Yeah. I'm close to ditto, but instead of a 7, I give that a 2. You need minutes. Without minutes,
Yeah.
somebody can interpret
Yeah.
that to be that you could stand for an hour. No minutes, no effect.
All
Okay.
right. Another statement here, very short. Had a stroke, cannot return to work.
We don't know how long. Strokes are an
Yeah.
interesting one. People have strokes and they bounce. Yeah. Right, Philip?
Yes, sir. It's
So yeah, that one, 1 for me.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So like what Brian would always say, it's not about the condition, but it's about what are the specific limitations, that prevents you from working.
We might not have
Uh,
anybody back here next week with these scores, but folks, I'm just being as straight up. My job is to help you like get to where you want to go
Yep.
and keep what you have.
yeah. Okay, another question here from Mark. I have severe back and neck pain. I can only stand 15 minutes before I need to rest. Only sit for 20 minutes before I would have to get up.
All right. All right. Liking what I hear from Mark. That's solid. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to give that one a 8.9. The only thing that would tighten it up, and it's tough in 2 sentences or less, I know, but if you could do that, and that was your limitation, but that only happened once a day, and then you could like bounce back and you were good for the rest of the day. That's the other piece. So if it was, I can't sit or stand for 15 minutes and I have to take a 20-minute break, and I can do that twice, but then I'm done for the day. That would be the top shelf. But I'm a little nitpicky here because I'm saying 2 sentences, but that's how you would improve upon that.
Okay. Another statement, I think this is the last one, from Johnny. I can't walk no more due to weak abdominal wall from past surgeries and a mesh inside my stomach that's problematic. 10 years of MZL lymphoma. Mania from a Republic on life support.
Well, this is an interesting one because the fact that you can't walk anymore,
Mm.
could you still work? Could you have a mobility device that could get you in a car and get you to a job? I don't know. Don't know. So that's an interesting one. I think I'm probably going to be in the 8 range for that one. I expect you have other limitations, sleep, and more clarity on the mobility would be helpful. But I think these are better than they typically are. I will say that. So perhaps people are, they've listened to me or us in the past, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to give it a shot this time. I think I got it." I don't know. Yeah.
Uh,
Hope you found it
okay.
helpful, folks. All right,
Yes.
let's move on.
For next
Yeah.
week's live, we're gonna have the scorecard. So when y'all ask these questions, we can hold up scorecards.
Hell, of course.
I like
That's
that
a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think before we go and move forward with the Zoom Q&A, we can have Philip's questions from his group first.
All right.
Okay. I want to add one more thing, if I can, to Brian's list of evidence things that you can provide to help your case. And I'm using off of my own experience, being a disabled person and going through the approval process myself, is that one of the best things you can do when you go to your appointments to your doctors is also sit down before you go to the appointment and write out some of your limitations, bullet points. Take that with you to the doctor and then say, "Here, doc, I need you to submit this into my medical records." And unfortunately, a lot of times when you go to your appointment, the doctor is sitting there and they're listening to you. But then when they get through, they got to get up and go back and put notes into their case file. And, they're thinking about that phone call they got from their wife or their husband saying, "Don't forget the milk or the bread when you get home this afternoon." So they forget some of the things they're supposed to put in there. And then something else you can do that I do is everybody that is a patient that goes to the doctor has a patient portal that they can go to. You can download that information on that patient portal. I do it all the time with my doctors. I have 8 different doctors that I see. So I have a lot of notes, and instead of calling them and trying to dictate it over the phone to the gatekeeper, I'll call their nurses the gatekeepers. Instead of doing that, you can download it on the portal and it goes directly to them and they can see it and then add that into your case file. So that's just some extra ideas that you can do, additional things that you can do.
Thank you,
All
Philip.
right.
Practical, real life
Yeah.
advice from Mr. Price.
All right. We have quite a few questions here today. We'll try to get through all of them. First one is Anonymous says, I am being kicked off state Medicaid and placed on Medicare after 2 years on disability. They are cutting my benefits by $185 a month for the parts A and B. And then the only option for in-network coverage for my specialist is a additional $330 a month Part D Medicare coverage. Does this sound correct?
Well, the adjustment in Medicaid, the big beautiful bill, I expect is influencing this because I know it's happening to a lot of people. Whether that's what's driving this one or not, I don't know. But what doesn't sound right for this person is if they're pushed off Medicaid, which I'm going to presume some stuff here, which is always dangerous, but I don't have all the info, that the extra help program where the state was paying for the 185 is going away. That's what it sounds like because it's synced up with that number. And then what it doesn't sound like this individual is familiar with is Medicare Advantage or Medicare Part C option, because most areas in the United States, you can get into one of those because you're now paying your Medicare Part B premium of $185 a month. You can get into one of these for low to no cost, and it will give you some treatment options. So my advice to that person, if you're a member here, I request a benefit review. The challenge is, even if you're a member here, you're going to be put on a waiting list because we're getting close to open enrollment. And if you're not a member here, it's going to be a long shot to get you helped before Medicare open enrollment. But I would do it anyway. Join as a member, request a benefit review, just follow the directions. Or if you're already a member, request one, and then we can help you get your questions more specifically answered and show you what your options are. There's no charge for that. It's part of your membership.
All right, next one from Tony says, I enrolled in Medicare Humana. Do I have to file taxes to keep my ACA discount?
I don't know. That's a tax guy question.
Okay. All right, this is from Anonymous. Also says, sorry if this isn't allowed, but I have some questions. I read so many horror stories about this disability application. I want to ask why it takes so long. I saw some people say over 3 years. I even saw someone say they've been waiting about 10. What happens during this time? Is it just silence, or are they asking for information? Do you have any helpful information for someone who is starting the process? This is scary and stressful to think you're not going to get paid for a long period because you can't work and dealing with your health alone.
My direction for answering this question would be expectations. Does that sound right, Philip?
Yeah.
And you have to be careful where you get your information from. I'm not saying that they're wrong. There are situations where people are out there, definitely for 3 years, but for 10 years, I don't know what's going on with that. So here at the Disability Digest, we have the hard numbers for you. There's expectations that you can obtain, and it goes something like this. When you submit your initial application, The average wait time for a decision is 233 days right now in the United States. Some states less, some states like Texas, perhaps more. That's where you get all that information. Your chances of getting approved at the initial application is 36% is the national average. But if you have a representative or somebody do it, like we know our own internal ones, when we work on cases as a disability representative, it's significantly higher than that. So you can get approved at the initial application. If it doesn't get approved there, then it's likely going to go to a hearing. I'll just cut to the chase and give you the short story here. And that is going to be 28 to 36 months for a hearing date, just on average. And then you have another 54% chance of getting approved there. That's the general time frame to expect. My position, as I continue to inform and instruct and preach, is to do your work up front, starting with even when you're working, like what we went through today, so you have the evidence to support an early decision. And if you don't get it, then, which doesn't always happen that way, you've got, the evidence built up so that you can get it at your hearing.
All right, next one. I've been denied twice, 2 times for disability. What happens next after I appeal it again?
If you're denied twice, I mean, that could be the initial denial and then the reconsideration denial, and you're going to go for a hearing.
I think that's what it is.
And if you're in one of the 10 states where there isn't a reconsideration, and you've already been for a hearing, then if it's denied there, then you can continue to appeal at the appeals council, and go to the federal level beyond that. The appeals council and the federal cases, there's like 1% of those end up getting approved. Highly specialized area of law. So depending on where you're at, I would encourage you to continue to pursue the appeal process if you can't work. That's why the program's here. Yeah.
All right, next one. What is the lawyer's role in the hearing process? Does he talk for you?
Yes, they do. They'll primarily, if they're good, and it doesn't need to be a lawyer. Frankly, we have used some very high profile, attorneys that I've gotten to know over the years here that do hearings for us with us versus non-attorney representatives. And I know the results. And I'm just going to say this, it doesn't need to be an attorney. Like Michael Sexton, who comes here and speaks, he has got an amazing win rate. And so that's it. But the role is a few things, key things. They're going to review all of your evidence in advance, and they're going to formulate the story, the case theory. They're going to submit, if they do their job right, they're going to submit a case brief to the attorney to the judge. And when the hearing starts, they're going to have an opening statement that explains, based on the pre-hearing brief, why you qualify. And then that starts the dialogue, and the judge will ask some questions, and there will be a point where you will be asked to answer questions directly. And yes, you do need to be prepared for that. Encourage you to follow the YouTube channel, continue to put out little tips like what you should do when you're asked a question. Like, what is the very first thing you should do? Don't reply. Because if you reply right away, typically you're emotionally charged and you're not clear thinking. You want to take a deep breath. And if you are capable and comfortable, you want to validate the question if it's appropriate, like repeat it back. Your Honor, I haven't slept well last night. I'm in a lot of pain. I just want to make sure I understand the question that you're asking me. Did you ask me what I can do on a daily basis? Right. So that part is yours. So those tips and other things, we can definitely help you out with.
All right, Nadine, do we have time for a couple more?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Says today I received a letter from Disability Determination Bureau to attend a telehealth consultation. What do I expect during this consultation? I am 63, diabetic, and anxiety depression.
Didn't communicate your limitations, first of all.
Yeah.
This
Or
is not, this is not,
scorecard.
pardon me?
Scorecards.
Scorecards. Yeah. I'm going to give that a 0. Oh, one for the effort. This is not your normal doctor's appointment, and you have to frame this, hopefully, with this perspective. This doctor is hired to evaluate you by Social Security to confirm that your limitations in your medical evidence is valid. They're not paid much. They do a lot of these, like usually they'll set a day aside. Oftentimes people are sent to these on the weekends. So you need to be very careful about this. The best way is there's 7 things that you should do in these. And you can get this information in our disability approval course. When you come here, click the green button, join, speak to an advocate. They'll put you in to the disability approval course. And then likely it's probably going to be section 3. We'll give you what you need to do, like don't go alone, what the advocate should do when you go, what you should bring with you. Again, it's not your normal doctor's appointment. That part of the disability approval course will help you out.
All right, we'll make this the last one here. It says, can someone explain the closed period of disability? I found out yesterday that I won my hearing. However, my attorney does not know all of the details yet. One of the concerns I have had throughout the appeals process was hearing about a closed period, but would that apply to someone who has had and continues to have ongoing medical treatment with 3 different specialists and cannot work? I think I'm just being overly paranoid due to this grueling process.
Well, I don't, there's very light medical here, but closed period of disability is not common, but it's effective. I'll give you an example. Somebody has a stroke, and the estimated time for recovery to get back into be able to work is going to be 18 months. Well, that's more than 12 months. So you could pursue Social Security disability for a closed period of time. And cancer. Somebody goes through the cancer treatment process. Maybe it's a 2-year segment of treatment, more than 12 months, not able to work, can get a closed period of disability. Not sure what the condition is in this situation, but those are examples. I'm in hopes will help you understand closed period of disability. There's a lot of people out there that should pursue a closed period of disability. They don't think about it. They don't know about it.
Yeah. All right, Nadine, that's it for today.
All right. Thank you so much for all those questions, Philip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am posting a link for those of you who wants to join us live here and ask your questions in the Zoom. And also, if you don't have a Zoom app in your phone or your computer, you can join us using your mobile phone. So I'm also putting in a link for join instructions on how to do that, and the numbers that you will dial to be able to join us. So we have someone in the wait room, Brian.
Yeah.
Let me see. But she or he didn't put a name. It just says iPhone.
iPhone 2.
Hi, iPhone 2.
Good morning, too.
Hi, I don't know if this is Lisa.
Oh, hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. I just want to thank you guys for being such an amazing support to start off with and being advocates. I appreciate it. And thanks for taking my question. Um, I completed the work history form, and I think it's the function capacity that was supplied by Disability Digest. Completed it, returned it. In the meantime, Social Security sent me almost duplicate forms. The format was a little bit different. And they're wanting it returned like by tomorrow. Do I still need to complete those forms and return them to Social Security, or have those forms already been submitted on my behalf?
I would send them back
Oh,
to
you would?
the box,
Okay.
and I would make sure that you keep copies of all documents and send them registered receipt. They give you an envelope.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I was instructed I didn't need to do this. So I'm glad I was able to get in on this.
Yeah, well, this is my opinion, and what you don't want to have happen is communication is not something that is Social Security's strong suit. Is they could say, well, yeah, I know you sent those in, but we sent you some that are slightly different. Just to be safe and use the same structure of your answers so they're consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much. Thanks for joining, Lisa.
All right. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
All right. So, Brian, while we are waiting for other audience to join us in Zoom, there are a couple more statements here that came in. It's waiting for your score. So, one here says, I can't stand for more than 10 minutes. Usually it's in the kitchen. I walk further than one house length. I can't sit for more than 1 hour, and I can't do repetitive movement with my arms.
That's decent. Now, one piece in there I would say to tighten up, but I'm going to give that one in the high 8s. You know, houses have different lengths. I would
Yep.
change that to feet or something that is more quantifiable than a house, right?
Yeah,
So
because the house could be a mansion.
could be. Hopefully it is. Yeah.
The other one here from Aris. I cannot walk, sit, stand for no more than 10 to 15 minutes at a time, where I have to lay down for 2 to 3 hours.
Good. Like it.
Okay.
That's a solid. I mean, I'm going to give that the first 9. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, another one here. Oh, this is a question. This is not a statement. I've been an SSDI for the past 6 years. I have severe osteoporosis with multiple fractures, and next month I'm turning 62. Do you think they'll put me on regular Social Security or keep me on SSDI?
You stay on SSDI until you reach your full retirement age.
Which is usually 65, right?
67.
67 for
67,
most now.
67.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Another question from Mark Green. Where in the award letter does it say my condition that got me approved?
If
Or
you
does it
receive
say?
an award letter, it does not. The only place that it is possibly noted is if you went to a hearing, you receive a decision letter, which they're typically pretty detailed, and they'll point out the conditions and their opinion on the limitations. Most decision writers do this. But other than that, you would not. If you're approved at the initial or reconsideration level, just receive an award letter.
All right. That's the last question that we have from the chat and the last statement, I think, so far. So I want to give you an update on our poll, Brian. So 45% says that they're using it to research before going to the doctor. 29% uses AI to research after going to the doctor. 14% uses it to explore alternative treatments, and 10% use it to verify doctor's advice.
Very cool. That's great information. Does that, like, you have any reflections on that?
So my reflection on that is that for most people, we would usually consult AI or Google first about the symptoms that we are experiencing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And hopefully we're not self-diagnosing.
Well, true. That's true. I'm very encouraged by that. My mind is going into a deeper dive, like, what is it that you're asking? What are you finding?
Yeah.
But thank you for that contribution. And if there's any other like AI hacks that you've learned that you'd be willing to share, either put them in the chat or maybe in one of these upcoming events, come join us in here, and so that we could learn from you and share it and push it around. Great. So that's awesome. Speaking of AI, one thing I do want to share with you is, before we depart today, is our 24/7 AI support guy is called Benny. And if you have a question, like, you can come down here and type in, like, how much can I earn? And Benny will provide you with the answer. So what we have done with Benny is we worked intensely for about 14 months to provide Benny with all the common questions and answers, and put them into Benny. Now, Benny doesn't have the answers to everything. There's 44 general categories, and there's 2 different versions of Benny. There's a much more in-depth, detailed answer that directs people to resources that these are for members that we know that members have access to. If you're not a member, it just directs you to general concept answers because you're external, you're not a member, and we're not able to drive those resources to you. So, but you can use Benny as a non-member, and then Benny Fit Plus is the version of it that we use for members. But this is something that you can, if you're up 2 in the morning, you want, oh my God, this, that's what Benny is here for. So yeah, I see that there is Martin that just asked to join. I'd be glad to let him in before we wrap up, see if we can help him out.
Sure. Hi, Martin.
Good morning, Martin.
I'm going to ask you to unmute because you're muted.
I do want to
There
say,
you go.
yeah, here he comes.
You hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
You got me?
Yes,
Hey,
we can
Brian.
hear you
Hey,
now.
Brian. Hey, Brian. Okay. Yeah, I was the one that called the question in about the stroke person.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the one. Yeah. Well, the job I do, like, do aviation. I'm like a person for the aircraft. And as of right now, I probably won't able to go back to work. I'm dealing now with the I guess called long term and all that. But it's a struggle with a stroke. I had a pretty severe one, and but I pretty know how to. I've been watching you for a long time, until I had a stroke. I was doing it before I had the stroke. I was always watching, but
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
I just want to let you know that I was a stroke person that was in there, and I was wanting to know that the having a stroke. Sometimes I don't think the community understand a person when they go through a stroke. You know, and your coworkers don't understand. The management don't understand. You know, they're just like, only thing when you coming back to work. You know, doctor ain't gonna let me come back to work right now. I can't drive, can't do nothing. I got to relearn everything. How to write, how to type on, how to get on the screen and everything. But it's a journey, dude. I just want to let people know about it. When you go, I had a pretty severe stroke when I had it, and
Mm-hmm.
like I said, like I said, I watch you every week. I've been watching for years, ever since you came on YouTube. But I've been helping people out and telling people to they have problems on with Social Security. Join your group, and you can help them out. And which a lot of people been doing that. My neighbors and friends, church members and stuff like that. But I just wanted to come on there and just say, thanks for what you do for different people and all. But like I said, I pretty much got all the medical work, medical stuff, like all that stuff. I got all that rolling and stuff right now. Had to do an eye test last Friday, and then do another eye test. When I had the stroke, I had double vision and all that. I had to get that redone. Like, so I'm in speech therapy now, and I got that everything is the whole journey. It's going to be a long time. 'Cause I had the stroke on February the 15th of this year, but I still watch the YouTube and still trying to help other people.
Thank you.
And
Thank
just
you.
thank you, and thank you what you do. You helping people. Thank you. You
Yeah,
got a real good team there. Thank you, Brian, for all you do there.
thank you. Before you go, may I ask a question?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Um, you went through the approval process, is that right?
Yeah. No, I never did. I never did. No, far as for on your side.
No, I mean, are you approved for your Social Security
Oh
disability?
no. I'm still working. I'm still on what they call. I'm trying to get approved. They're trying to prove me now how to get long term.
Okay,
But man, it's a monster, man. You'd be surprised stuff that you got that you want. They want. You know.
right,
Sometimes
right.
I gotta look outside and make sure, man, they watching behind, they outside watching me, see them doing anything, cut the grass or something.
Yeah.
It's crazy the way they do it, but I'm
Okay.
familiar. I'm familiar with the part with I got all the medical things and stuff like that. My wife and daughter helping me with all that stuff. 'Cause I couldn't use a computer or nothing, but I got all the medical stuff and all that, and I sent all that and stuff. But it's just I'm 60. I'll be 66 this year. I was actually going to retire this year. My last retirement day would have been last Friday. I plan on retiring. Before I had the stroke. My stroke was in February 2017. But I'd already said I was going to retire.
Mhm.
I would have been retiring last Friday if I didn't have the stroke. But yeah, I hadn't filed Social Security yet, yeah. But I got y'all guys. I might need y'all help once
Mhm.
yeah, but I will be reaching out to y'all. But like I said, I'm going through the long term thing now. It's amazing paperwork. They act like you had Social Security where they're paranoid with it, with paperwork.
They don't give it away. So
Yeah.
Martin, I have a different type of question for you,
Yeah, go
and
ahead.
this is totally optional, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've actually never asked this before, so you're the
Go ahead
very.
now. So go ahead now. First
Are
time
you
for
ready?
everything.
All right,
First
here
time
we go.
for everything.
So when you look at your situation with the stroke and that and it's put you in a situation that you're limited and you're not able to work. Do you think, or do any thoughts go through your mind, like what maybe you could have done differently to have prevented it, or that could have allowed you to recover quicker from the stroke? Does any of that go on with you?
Oh no, you probably would have got to. I guess the only thing is got to the hospital quicker.
Ah,
Yep.
so with a stroke, it's the timing,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah. I can
Mhm.
sympathize with you, Martin, because when I had mine, it was a 2.5 hour drive to get me to the hospital.
uh
They could have took me to the one that was 10 miles away, but I said, no, I want to go to my hospital, which was 2.5 hours away.
I see.
And
So-
lucky I got there in time for them to, there's an injection they can give you when you're having a stroke that stops it.
Right.
So yeah, timing is critical.
So if you had a do-over on that one, Philip, I know Martin had asked you the question. Would you differently?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
Should have got there quicker.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right. Right. Yeah. That's
yeah. I
nice.
probably should have went to the one that was 10 miles away, but
Yep.
Yep.
Well, if
I
you're
was,
having a stroke and you're not aware of time sensitivity because you didn't expect to have a stroke, wouldn't that be part of it?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, because you have to depend on everybody that's around you to
Yeah.
help make that decision.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Nice. Well, Martin, listen, I want to thank you for your support, tuning in, watching, supporting the Disability Digest. That's why we do this stuff. So I thank you and I wish you well in your journey, and we're here to help you if we can be of any assistance.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mark.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, a few things before we sign off. On the 27th of August, coming up shortly, Attorney James Mitchell Brown, industry expert, is going to be here to cover a very important part of the approval process, which is filling out that adult function form. And that form is critical in the approval process because it can make or break a case, definitely at the initial application. And there's a certain nuance to answering those questions that he has agreed to share his an abundance of information and wealth of knowledge to get that answered. So mark your calendars for the 27th. Now, if you're already approved for disability and you go through a continuing disability review, you're going to be faced with dealing with this, or in general, how you should frame your questions and your communication with Social Security. It's not isolated to this one form. So you can hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Maybe you'll be one of those the person that will put us at 100,000 subscribers here in the next few days. Who knows? Yeah, if it happens during the one of our lives, I'm gonna put my fireworks, set them off. For sure. Good, cool. Listen, this has been a great event. I hope you got some value out of it. Again, encourage you to subscribe, share it with other people that you know that this would benefit from. It makes the whole thing go around. And we will be back next week. Philip, Nadine, thank you for your contribution to today's event. All right.